Everything in Sylvester Stallone's crime program is intensified at the end of Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 8, particularly the conflict between Dwight Manfredi and Bill Bevilacqua, Frank Grillo. The show is rapidly getting out of control after Tyson's Will rash attack on Bill Bevilacqua at the end of Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 7, and the bombing of Dwight's Navigator. War has broken out between the various gangs and power players. Dwight's relationship with Tina, Tatiana Zappardino, is deteriorating, and Tyson's relationship with his family is strained but improving. Given all that is happening at once, an explanation might be beneficial. Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. Before going to the main topic, I want to say like this video and subscribe to the channel. All of the characters in Tulsa King Season 2 were thrown into a full-scale conflict by Tyson's attack on Bill Bevilacqua and the tensions that had been building throughout the season. Blood has already been extracted from Bevilacqua, and it appears that much more will follow. Even if the war is already underway, the manner in which it began defies logic, particularly in light of the agreement that Bill and Dwight reached during the Atlanta sit-down. It turns out that all of their disagreement stems from a number of miscommunications that have the potential to completely alter Tulsa King Season 2's plot. Dwight was forced to face some of the grave repercussions of his life of crime in Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 8, with his daughter Tina delivering the first of many. Tina told her father that she didn't think their relationship would last when Dwight begged her to take her family back to New York for their safety. Their relationship is, to put it mildly, strained because Tina ultimately left with her children without bidding Dwight farewell. Tina might even completely remove Dwight from her and the children's lives. Even if Dwight and Tina don't have a good relationship, the general might try to patch things up. It stung much more when Tina said she loved him in response to Dwight's statement that he didn't want her to hate him. However, there is a potential that Tina and Dwight could get back together because they still love each other. Dwight would most likely need to undergo a significant transformation in order to regain Tina's affections, and she might even desire that he give up his life as a gangster and become a legitimate person. Regardless, it is unlikely that Tina and Dwight would get back together before the conclusion of Tulsa King Season 2. The fact that Jackie Ming, Rich Ting, ejected Cal Thresher, Neil McDonough, from their business partnership was one of the surprises in Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 8. Cal was coerced into signing a deal that would officially transfer control of the entire cannabis firm by Jackie, who had his men holding pistols at his head. Jackie, as well as even though Cal and Jackie had a tense relationship at best, Jackie's treachery was somewhat unexpected given the amount of money and expertise Cal brought to the cannabis farm and their joint earnings. Jackie had very simple reasons for kicking Cal out of the company. Jackie told Cal that he was successful because he was ruthless and took what he wanted, and he did just that with Cal's company. Additionally, Jackie had stated that he doesn't believe in half measures. Thus, he would never be completely satisfied as a partial partner in the weed farm. He had to start by eliminating Cal Thresher because Jackie is probably attempting to seize control of all the local criminal enterprises. Vincent Piazza, has been plotting to unseat Chicky, Dominic Lombardozzi, as the leader of the Invernizzi crime family in New York for the most of Tulsa King Season 2. Vince finally carried out those plans in Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 8. Vince overthrew Chicky without killing him, but with the support of other family members and the consent of other New York gangs. In a few months, Vince gave Chicky a chance to cool down and possibly regain control. But before then, Chicky might seek retribution for Vince's treachery. The gangsters stated that they were aware that Chicky had killed Pete and that, in order to make Goody, Chris Caldovino, feel bad, Chicky had also killed one of his own guys. Chicky may want to assault Vince and exact revenge for his betrayal, even though there was a very valid reason to remove him from office. Although Chicky is becoming more reckless and violent, he is not a fool, and he is aware that Vince has the support of the majority of the New York gang world. That could be sufficient to compel him to take no action to prevent his deposition. Two of Bill Bevilacqua's men conducted a drive-by shooting at Dwight's marijuana shop, the Even Higher Plane, towards the conclusion of Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 8. Jimmy the Creek, Glenn Gould, and Bodie, Martin Starr, were both outside when the shooting occurred, but only Jimmy was struck. It's too soon to know if Jimmy is truly dead because the entire incident happened so swiftly, but his prospects don't appear promising. Jimmy was shot at least once in the abdomen, which isn't the ideal location for an open wound but isn't usually lethal. It's unclear if Jimmy will survive or not, but the attack will undoubtedly have a significant impact. Jimmy plays a significant role in many of Dwight's business ventures. He is the primary grower of Bodhi's cannabis, his name appears on the Bread $2 gaming license, and he assisted in negotiating the wind farm agreement with Med Hat. He won't be able to manage all those operations for some time, even if he lives. Jimmy's significance to the gang may also intensify the conflict between Bill and Dwight, because Dwight will not let the attack going unpunished. In Tulsa King Season 2, Cal Thresher and Bill Bevilacqua had their first in-person conversation. There were a number of significant events throughout their encounter that require analysis. Cal's admission that Jackie Ming was behind the bombing of Dwight's Navigator and, thus, the entire gang war was the most significant event that transpired during their encounter. Given that Cal had cautioned the businessman about collaborating with the Chinese mob, Bill was rightfully incensed at him for entangling Jackie with Dwight. But the most important lesson from that realization was that Bill now understands that if he can tell Dwight the truth, he can reconcile with him. The encounter between Cal and Bill also gave away a lot about their personalities and the future of their partnership as Tulsa King Season 2 comes to a close. Cal sought to Bill for assistance since he was obviously terrified that Jackie would kill him. But according to Bill, Cal is the reason Vic was shot and why he initially entered into a conflict with Dwight. Bill may be considering killing Cal, but Cal depends on him to live. Given Bill and Jackie, Cal Thresher's chances of surviving are slim. Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 8's closing scene and last surprise focused on Armand Trucy, Max Casella, a character who is mainly ignored. After breaking into the Bread $2, Armand used a revolver to coerce Goody into allowing him to take a sizable sum of money. Goody told Armand that Dwight would skin him alive once he discovered his grave error. Armand must have realized in advance how foolish it would be to rob Dwight, but he still went ahead and did it. Despite his perplexing choice, Armand had a few motivations for robbing the Bread $2. Armand has been in a downward spiral all season. He has been drinking excessively, his contract with Cal Thresher to leak information about Dwight has gone awry on both sides. Dwight is aware of it and Cal is utterly insensitive, and his divorce has left him with child support obligations that have eaten away his finances. By evicting Clara and his kids, losing his job at the ranch, and completely cutting off his money from Cal, Armand further sunk himself in a hole in this episode. Because of his extreme desperation, Armand decided to rob Dwight and the group, which may have been fatal. The primary reason Armand robbed Goody was desperation, but it wasn't the only one. For a long time, and not without good reason, Armand has held Dwight responsible for his troubles. Even before the child support, his membership in Dwight's gang was a major factor in his financial difficulties and the primary cause of Clara's divorce. Since Dwight's arrival in Tulsa is mostly to blame for Armand's troubles, he most likely chose to loot the Bread $2 in retaliation. Armand's decision probably has a mental health component as well because he cannot have been in a favorable mental state due to the stress and shame of his circumstances. There are still a lot of unanswered questions in Tulsa King Season 2's last 2 episodes. The show must proceed swiftly to get a compelling conclusion, from watching Armand's decision unfold to revealing who will prevail in the conflict between Dwight, Jackie, and Bill. However, if Episode 8 of Tulsa King Season 2 is any guide to the show's speed, it should have little trouble addressing every query it has brought up. Actually, there might be a couple more surprises in store for Tulsa King. As of right now, Tyson is not a murderer. He is still a guy free in his conscience. He's free of that guilt for the time being, but if he joins forces with Dwight, the possibility is always there. One of Dwight Manfredi's best qualities is reaffirmed in Tulsa King Season 2 Episode 8, Loyalty. Dwight's style of commitment is a fundamental aspect of who he is and goes beyond mere lip service. Tyson is a perfect example of how he treats his workers like a family under new management. Even though Tyson is young and inexperienced, Dwight has remained close to him because he sensed something in him right away. However, Loyalty comes with a price, and Dwight makes Tyson understand what it takes to be a member of his inner circle. Dwight didn't overlook Tyson's careless maneuver, which had the potential to have terrible consequences. That kind of shoddy decision-making would have been Tyson's demise in any other family, but Dwight functions differently. Without dismissing Tyson, Dwight ensures that he comprehends the seriousness of his conduct. The contrast between Dwight's team and the conventional mafia structure, where one mistake could result in a hit, is particularly intriguing. Dwight handles loyalty fairly, which is uncommon in shows about organized crime. His commitment to Tyson and the rest of his crew is limited, though. If this continues, we might witness Dwight struggling to strike a balance between encouraging risky behavior and supporting it. He must learn to do this if he hopes to survive in this convoluted web of connections. Of course, there are consequences to Dwight's devotion to his adopted family. He is defending his daughter Tina's increasing estrangement from him by saying it shields her from the turmoil in his life. However, it's evident that they have unresolved issues, and their tense relationship feels like a lost chance. There is so much room for development in Tina's character. She possesses the tenacity and resolve to be Dwight's perfect ally, or, at the very least, a source of significant friction. However, the show currently appears determined to separate itself from her. Will this be Tina's final appearance? Considering how sparse the female cast is on Tulsa King, I can't help but hope there will be more. The big question is this: where are Tulsa King's fully developed women? Consider programs like 1883 and 1923, where the Dutton women maintain their position and influence the plot just as much as the males, or Yellowstone, where Beth Dutton is a dominant figure. The attention on women is acute and nuanced, even on the female-led series Lioness. However, things are different here in Tulsa. It's really perplexing that women are hardly more than set pieces. A character with the same brutal tenacity as Beth Dutton or the moral complexity of Dwight's sister Joanne would be extremely beneficial to Tulsa King. However, all that's left is a boys' club arrangement that doesn't contribute anything new to the genre. Even the FBI perspective, which may have presented a strong female ally or adversary, returns to Dwight being confronted by male investigators. What would have happened if a woman had taken the lead and exploited Dwight's vulnerabilities by playing on his feminine connection, like Stacy did? There is a clear need for a female character in this program who is as complex and unreservedly ambitious as the male characters. Let's now discuss the power struggles that are shattering Dwight's universe. Bill is out for blood because of Cal's debacle with Jackie Ming. Chicky has a grudge against Dwight, and Vince in New York is interested in Chicky's job. Chaos is inevitable, and at least one person has already died. Rest in peace, Jimmy. Every character makes an effort to tug ropes, but nobody appears to realize how complicated this web has gotten. Dwight is, of course, right in the middle, somehow keeping his head above water. Tyson believed that Bill had given the order to kill Dwight, but it turns out that evil Jackie Ming is actually responsible for the mayhem. Jackie stands apart from the other gangsters in Dwight's realm and is a wild card. Because Tulsa King is gritty, yet has a sense of tenderness in its characters, it works because most of these men have a softer, more human side. But Jackie? He is merciless and disregards the code of conduct that the other men adhere to. His presence gives the series a colder, more ruthless quality that upsets the equilibrium and jeopardizes all we value. He is more than simply another antagonist. He upends the entire dynamic of the program, which makes me question how long he will remain. You're kept on edge by the frequent betrayals and shifting alliances, which give the impression that a dramatic confrontation is imminent. Threats against Dwight come from all directions, including Tulsa, New York, and even his own team. As it stands, these men might be able to find a way ahead if they could set aside their egos for a moment. Did Cal and Bill's conversation give any indication that this may be done? This episode raises the question of who will win because Manny's latest heist at the casino is only one more wrench in an already broken system. Dwight is in a more vulnerable position than ever before, and he runs the danger of upsetting someone in his life with every decision he makes. I can't help but wonder who will be by his side when everything is said and done, as I watch him attempt to make his way through this labyrinth of ambition and treachery. This show keeps us on our toes, and every time we think we have a grasp on things, something new comes up. With everything going on, we can be sure that Tulsa King's next destination will be anything but dull. Let us know in your comments. And stay tuned by subscribing our channel to get more updates like this. Thanks, everyone.